In the late 1970s, while hip-hop was being created at block parties in Brooklyn, Sacramento had break dancers. This was a time that created funky fresh clothing, pop locking, electric keyboards, boom boxes, heavy drum tracks, and other roots of the hip-hop culture. This era eventually gave birth to the Breakin' movie series, Crush Groove, and many more. During this time, East Coast rap pioneers were creating a genre, defining a culture. Their messages were about fun, respect, and what was going on in the hood. To be king of Sacramento in those days, you had to not only know how to pop, but survive and control a dance battle. The main DJ in town was DJ Daryl Dennis. He was known for pumping up local events. DJ Daryl was the local star. That was until the Triple Threat 3, which was Raymond D.C. Ray Haskins, Michael Mike C. Caraway, and Bruce Captain K. Knight hit the scene. They were rapping. For the record, D.C. Ray was Sacramento's first rapper, and the Triple Threat 3 was the first Sacramento rap group. D.C. Ray and the Triple Threat 3 started around this time. South Sacramento, already known for its dance battles, also became known for intense rap battles as well. Burbank was the main battle spot. MCs from everywhere were coming down, reflects D.C. Ray on Fahrenheit Radio's Fahrenheit Hour Urban Talk Show. Eventually, Sacramento's unique hip-hop style was on display in alleys, house parties, DJ parties, high schools, and dance clubs in the form of freestyle rap. It was pure urban expression. It was the stuff that created what Sacramento is now known for, hard-edged, in-your-face reality music. When the dust settled, D.C. Ray and the Triple Threat 3 became our Sacramento representatives. They were 16 years old. During D.C. Ray's 2015 appearance on Fahrenheit Radio's Fahrenheit Hour, First Degree the D mentioned a Rakim show and story they were writing for Fahrenheit Insight. I was before Rakim, includes D.C. Ray. Wow. Back then you had to sell your music out the trunk like Too Short, remembers D.C. Ray. Before digital downloads and streaming, before the presence of independent distributors, before it became easy to get your music to the public, there was selling music out the trunk. Selling music out the trunk is a term used by independent artists, meaning selling music directly to the consumer, face-to-face, on the street, at shows, or at other events. In time, face-to-face music sales will be one of Northern California rappers' most essential traits. Independent record store insiders like Russ Solomon of Tower Records, Dylan Radadkovitz of Dipple Records, and Saeed Balance Crumpler of Rasputin Music in the Bay made it possible for independent artists to take their music from the trunk to stores. In 2007, world-renowned London-based writer Brian Bartholomew traveled the United States to do research for his rap documentary, Feel Me Before They Kill Me. For this project, he traveled the entire U.S., meeting MCs from different regions along the way. It was amazing how Brian was able to come to a foreign land and chop it up with so many rap stars. At the end of his trip, Brian interviewed Northern California artists and noted that the independent spirit is at its peak here in Northern California. One of Sacramento and the Bay's greatest gifts to American music industry was demonstrating the will to bypass the major labels and go independent. The more common practice was to sit around and beg major labels to sign you. Nowadays, selling music independently is common. Brian Bartholomew died before finishing. Once DC Ray became the king of urban sack, the buzz exploded past our Sacramento borders and reached the Bay Area and eventually LA and New York. It was at this time that Russell Simmons, Def Jam Records, and new rap group Run DMC were blowing up on the East Coast. Let's get one thing clear. Rap as we know it originated in New York City. In the 1970s, pioneers like DJ Hollywood, DJ Kool Herc, DJ Red Alert, Grandmaster Flash, Africa Bambaataa and the Soul Sonic Force, the Furious Five and others changed the world with their rhythmic rhyming, urban swag, and break beats. Without the block parties and hip-hop evolution in the boroughs of New York, there would be no Sacramento rap. Inspired by the success of one of the first rap songs, Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang, Queens native and college student Russell Simmons teamed up with MC Eddie Chiba and Curtis Walker, aka Curtis Blow, to make a move. In 1979, Simmons and Curtis Blow recorded and independently released Christmas Rappin'. It was a hit. The hip-hop being created at the time was urban, revolutionary expression that was just waiting to bust out of the seams. Simmons' next step was to partner with Rick Rubin and form Def Jam Records. Def Jam was off and running with their first release, 16-year-old LL Cool J's I Need a Beat. In 1982, Simmons' younger brother, Joseph Simmons, formed a hip-hop group with Daryl DMC Daniels and Jason Jam Master J Mizzle. In 1984, Run DMC released the self-entitled album, Run DMC, and the album went on to become the first album to be certified gold. Run DMC decided to take their block party on the road. That road led to Sacramento, and in 1983, DC Ray and the Triple Threat 3, Houdini, and Run DMC did a show at Second Level in Sacramento. It was Sacramento's first big rap show. A 13-year-old Kevin Brother Lynch Hung man was in the first row. Other up-and-coming artists were in the building as well. The Triple Threat 3 turned the party out, getting the attention of Russell Simmons. After the show, the 3 had heard of Run DMC and LL Cool J. Def Jam Records itself was a mystery to the crew. Everything was so fresh, everything was so new. Simmons' pitch to the 3 was that Def Jam was becoming the biggest label in New York. Later that night, Russell Simmons offered the Triple Threat 3 a contract. This was it. Signing with a nationally renowned record label was any MC's dream. However, there was a catch. They had to move to New York, and they had to decide that night. When reflecting on history, there are a few moments that shape the future as we know it. In this book, there are about 5 moments that carve the course of Sacramento rap history. Russell Simmons offering the Triple Threat 3 this record deal was one of them. The Triple Threat 3 discussed the offer within themselves. 2 of the Triple Threat 3 members, DC Ray and Captain K, were in. 1, Mike C, was out, citing the mystery of Def Jam Records and their age, only 16, and the distance. At the time, Def Jam was still an up-and-coming label from a coast far away. Since the members of the Triple Threat 3 were a group, they stuck together and decided to decline Def Jam's offer. On the Fahrenheit Hour, First Degree and DC Ray reflect on how the Sacramento rap game could have been much more had they gone to New York. In time, DC Ray and the Triple Threat Three's battle-proven style, grit, and lyrical emphasis had made its way to world-renowned producer Cletus Anderson in New York. In the 1980s, Cletus Anderson had purchased Saturn Records and was looking for a new sound to hit the market with. Cletus had made his fame with VIP Records in Long Beach, California. In 1983, Saturn Records signed the Triple Threat 3 and went on to release their first single, Scratch Motion. All right, so that's the beginning. That, to me, when I interviewed DC Ray, is the most fascinating story. That all the way back to the Run DMC era, folks were out here doing it, and they had just left, going to New York. You know, Sac could have been, you know, but history is, you know, it is what it is. There's about 3 or 4 moments like that that just sent our history on a tangent. It was really interesting to learn. So any questions about what I read so far?
Yeah, did DC Ray, did he read?
First interview thing, you know, it was kind of touchy. And then at first, they didn't want me to say who was the one who said no. But then they had some kind of meeting